Okay, so today we're going to be talking about equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. And all this is going to be on page 54 of your composition notebook. So to start off, we're going to talk about the slope of parallel and perpendicular lines. So for parallel lines, the slope is the same. So whatever you have for your slope on parallel line, on two different parallel lines, is going to be the same. For perpendicular lines, the slope is the opposite reciprocal. And we're going to go deeper into what opposite reciprocal means later on in this video. Okay, for this example, I'm told to find the equation of a parallel line through the given point. My given point is 1, 7, and my line is negative 6x plus y equals negative 1. Well, the first thing I need to do is change this line, or change this equation into y equals mx plus b form. So, to do that, I'm going to move the negative 6 over, and I'm going to get y equals 6x minus 1. Now, I found my slope here. I know my slope is equal to 6. So I'm going to use this formula and plug in my slope and my x and y to find my y-intercept for that line. So I'm going to use my y here, which is 7, is equal to my slope, which is 6, times my x, which is 1, plus b to find my y-intercept. So now I have 7 equals 6 plus b. Then I'm going to move this 6 over to this side, so I'm going to have to subtract 6. And I'm going to get b is equal to 1. So now I know my final equation for a parallel line is y equals 6x plus 1. Okay, for this example, I'm asked to find a perpendicular line through the given point. And if we remember, we said our slope for a perpendicular line is the opposite reciprocal. Well, let's start off with this equation. My slope in this equation is 3. So if I'm going to do the opposite reciprocal, that means that this 3 is positive, so I'm going to do the opposite of positive 3, which is negative. And then I'm going to take the reciprocal. Now by reciprocal, they mean think of this 3 as 3 over 1. Now they want you to flip it. So instead of 3 over 1, you have 1 over 3. Negative 1 over 3, because we already took the opposite. So now, my first slope from this line was 3, and my new slope is negative 1/3. So the slope of this line was 3. My slope of a perpendicular line is negative 1/3. So now I'm going to use my slope of a perpendicular line to figure out a line that goes to this point. So once again, I'm going to plug my numbers into the y equals mx plus b form. So my y is 2 equals, my slope is negative 1 over 3 times my x plus b. So now I have 2 is equal to negative 1/3 times 9, or excuse me, negative 1/3 times negative 9, which is going to give me 3 plus b. So now I'm trying to get b by itself. I'm going to move this 3 over to the other side, and I know my b is equal to negative 1. So the equation of my line is y equals negative 1 over 3 x minus 1. Okay, in this example, we're given 3 different lines, and we're asked to determine which of the lines are parallel and which one are perpendicular. So what we need to do is find the slope for each of our lines. So in the first line, my slope is given to me here. So I know m is equal to 3/5. Now, in this line, I still need to find my slope. So I'm given 5y equals 3x minus 2. So what I need to do is I need to get y by itself. To do that, I would divide both sides by 5. And I end up with y equals 3/5x minus 2/5. So I know here my slope is equal to 3/5. And the last line I'm given is 10x minus 6y equals -4. So, once again, I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 10x on both sides, which leaves me with -6y equals -10x minus 4. Then I'm going to divide both sides by -6. And I'm left with y equals 5/3, because I had 10/6x and I reduced it down to 5/3. Excuse me, -10 over -6x, and I reduced that down to 5/3 x plus 4/6. So here I find my slope, and I know that it's 5/3. Now, I have to determine whether any of the lines are parallel or perpendicular. So, first I'm going to look for parallel. And when I look for parallel, I'm going to look for, are any of my slopes the same? And I have 2 of them that are the same. So I know that line A is parallel, and this symbol means parallel, to line B. So here's one of my answers. Now I'm going to look again. Are any of my slopes the opposite reciprocal? And I can tell from all of these that none of my slopes are the opposite. So here I have 3/5. So the opposite reciprocal of 3/5 would be the opposite, which would be negative, and then the reciprocal, which means I flip it, 5/3. And if I look at all of these, I don't have a -5/3. So I don't have a line that is perpendicular. I only have one that is parallel. So here is your practice problem for tonight. Determine which of the lines are parallel and which ones are perpendicular. You have line A, which is y equals 5x minus 3. Line B, which is x plus 5y equals 2. And line C, which is -10y minus 2x equals 0. Good luck.